Hi everyone, my name is Albert, one of the co-founders at VectorShift. Today we're going to talk about what triggers are in VectorShift. Let's head into the no-code builder and walk you through what these features are. In VectorShift, there are three types of pipelines. There are standard pipelines, which are mappings between inputs and outputs. Feed data in, process the data in the workflow, feed data out. You can think of this as like a sales proposal automation or like a knowledge-based assistant. Collateral, like a case study goes in. You might ask it a question, give it some more context, give it like a sales call transcript, process it, out comes the sales proposal. We have triggers, which we're going to talk about today, which is the second type of pipeline, which is we want to run something when something happens, say when a new email comes in. And finally, there are conversational type pipelines, which is when you define what happens at each step in a conversation. Let's go ahead and focus on the triggers for today. We're going to be adding a lot more triggers over the next coming weeks, but there are three types of triggers in VectorShift today. There's email type triggers, which are Gmail, Outlook. Primarily, it triggers when a new email comes in, which is what we're going to demo today. And then we have cron jobs, which is when you want something repeatedly to happen at a given point in time, say every week. Let's go ahead and talk about the Gmail trigger. So the Gmail trigger is going to run when a new email comes in. Let's go ahead and select the trigger event, new email. Let's say we want to build something that automatically creates drafts of a new email to everything, every new email that comes in. And then I want to just automatically review it in my drafts folder. And if it's good, I can send it. If not, I can make quick edits and then send it right after. All right, so at this step, you just go ahead and authenticate. Go here and then click sign into Google. And then you go through the auth flow. With that done, we come to the final stage of setting up the trigger. Here, you need to select the mailbox that this trigger is going to function on. There are many different mailboxes within Gmail, right? For example, your trash can folder, your spam folder. This is the mailbox within your Gmail that causes the trigger. The most often used is the inbox. When a new email arrives in inbox, I want this pipeline to run. Let's go ahead and select inbox. Now, on this trigger node, there's another toggle called enable automation. It's default on, and you have to leave it on for the trigger to work. Finally, at the end of the pipeline, you have to make sure to deploy changes to fully turn on the automation. All right, let's go ahead and build this workflow. As I mentioned, we're trying to build a workflow that automatically sends email draft replies to emails that come into my inbox. So what I'm going to do is I want this to answer questions about VectorShift. So we have to use a knowledge base to give it some context, give this pipeline some context about what VectorShift is. Let's go ahead and create a knowledge base. Go ahead and press create. And you can add all sorts of documents from files syncing with integrations or scraping URLs. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape the VectorShift homepage to give it some context on what VectorShift is. Let's go ahead and press add document. All right, let's go back to the pipeline. Now, I need to find relevant information from this knowledge base based on the email. So let's go ahead and use a variable, use double curly braces to use variables in VectorShift. So let's go ahead and select trigger _0 and the contents of the email. I want to use the contents of the email to search this knowledge base to find relevant information because the user question is often in most cases the email body. All right, this is going to find relevant pieces of information from this knowledge base and then pipe it out on the other end. Let's go ahead and now use an OpenAI LLM to actually write the body of the email. Let's go ahead and write, you are an intelligent email writer for VectorShift, a no-code AI workflow builder. You just write the body of the email in response to the email. Sign off all emails with best Albert. Do not write anything other than the body of the email. All right, and then you say use context to write the email. All right, so let's go ahead and write, let's give it the email. All right, let's use the variable trigger _0, contents of the email, and then let's give it the context from the knowledge base. Now we select the knowledge base and then the chunks that are coming out. All right, so this is gonna write the body of the email. And let's go ahead and use the Gmail node to respond. So as I mentioned, I want the email to be populated within the email drafts. So let's go ahead and click draft reply. Go ahead and select the same integration. And this is going to be to the same email that's coming in. So triggered_squirrel.sender email. So if this is coming from Albert at VectorShift.ai, we're going to send it back to Albert at VectorShift.ai. And then the body of the email is coming from this OpenAI node. So OpenAI_0.response. And the email ID is the ID of the email, which makes sure that it responds in the same chain of the first email. So let's pull that from the trigger node, email ID. All right, so we have the pipeline. So let's go ahead and deploy it, and this will turn it on. And I have my personal email over here, and I'm going to send the email to Albert at VectorShift.ai with what is VectorShift. Let's go ahead and send this. And what's going on under the hood is this is going to identify that a new email has arrived in the inbox. It's going to use the body of the email, which is what is VectorShift, to query this knowledge base. Then it's going to find relevant data to have this OpenAI LLM respond. I prompted it to just respond with the email. It's going to use the context and it's going to respond to this body. And then we're going to send this OpenAI response back as an email draft. It's going to populate within my drafts folder. It's going to have the email ID, so it's going to be the same chain. It's going to send it back to the send email. All right, let's go ahead and go to my email. So you can see that a draft has already been populated. Let's go ahead into my drafts folder. And there we go. So it's already populated an email that VectorShift is an end-to-end AI automations platform that can help you build workflows. Hopefully this was a good introduction to triggers. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and thank you very much. Take care.